Hey, what up, guys? It's Julie Vamps, and you're listening to the Best Damn Podcast. And who we have on the show today?
Kevin Ross, singer, songwriter, producer, and now label owner of Our Society Music Group. And I'm glad to be here with you.
I'm glad that you're here too, Kevin. I'm like, your voice. Let me explain, because this is out of the norm for me to go this hard. But your voice, this is so weird. Your voice is, I can't really describe it, but I'm telling you, your voice, your vocals could do a couple things for me, and I'm pretty sure everybody else. You could bump it in the car, you could bump it to turn up, and then if you're making love, you could bump it as well. So I've never said that out loud to anybody I had on the show before, but I'm like, damn, I gotta add this song onto that playlist. You feel me?
Come on! I love it.
I had to dump a whole bunch. I'm like, damn it. I'm like, now I got to talk to this guy, and he's on that playlist.
No pressure. Man, I'm not here to make it awkward. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to facilitate. You dig what I'm saying? That's it.
You about to have a whole bunch of kids being made, by the way. If you haven't already, I'm sure you already have. Like, FYI, there's no way.
You never know.
Exactly. So let's talk about your latest project, Drive 2, which it's so reminiscent of what they used to do back in the day when they would premiere an album or a single on the radio. And it's like when I was listening to it, I was like, damn, he really went in. And I don't know if you drew inspiration from the fact that you did the mashup show, but like, I really, really love that. And it's a very short project. It's only like about 20 minutes long. Yeah. So there's no way you can't sit through the whole thing. By the way, it's amazing.
Thank you so much.
It's only 20 minutes long.
Yeah, I mean, it was on purpose, though, to be honest, because I'm still a discovery artist. And so, when you're getting introduced to something for the first time, like myself, you want to make sure that you create a project that's easily digestible. Just imagine if you're just coming across somebody like a Kevin Ross and his new project is an hour and a half, with 25 records. You'll be intimidated and be like, I'll get to it later, versus it's just like, okay, it's 10, but it's 20 minutes. Let me just put this on and see how I feel. You know what I mean? So it's less intimidating. And like you said, to pay tribute to old school days where, radio stations and things like that will premiere albums. That was a big thing in the sense where, like, if someone from the hometown had an album, they would play it. Or, if the artist was big enough, they would really play like exclusive records from off of the album. And you don't really have that anymore. But I really wanted to, just kind of give this, this vibe to the project, in the sense that this is a project to, drive to make love to clean to, do all kinds of things. So it's an all-purpose project. And though it's short, it's for a reason, for sure.
And I was wanting so much more, but I really, honestly, it's difficult for me nowadays, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people, maybe not, I don't know, I'm weird, but I like to connect with the music. I really do. I like to connect with it on a personal level, but this project, and obviously your other projects as well, we'll get into that a little bit later, I'm like connecting with it. And it's like, it made me want to get into a writing mode. Like I wanted to a little bit like start writing, like I was in love or I had something to say, even though I'm not that great or strong at it, but you made me want to pick up a new creative path with this project. So, awesome. Sorry, but let's talk about you releasing this project during 2021 and why it was important. Obviously you did a lot last year as well, but why was this particular project important for you to release this year?
It was important for me to release just because of the fact that, like, it allowed for people to see the transition that I'm making. Yeah. So, in the past, I would produce things. My first record that I had a number one on in R&B was called Long Song Away, and I wrote and produced that. And I started to see the trend that even within my albums, that the records that people gravitated towards a lot more were records that I really had my hand in, whether it was writing and producing or co-producing or whatever, but I really was, knee deep in. And so I was like, okay, I have to respect the pattern. I have to respect the trend. And, I seen an opening. God gave me that opening to say, it's time for you to really step up as a producer and to produce this record. So 80% of this record that people hear is me. Wow. And so, written and produced through and through. And so it was a daunting task, but it was important for me to get that out there as we transition on to new phases and new sounds and new vibes, so that, I can kind of get a pulse of what people like from me as a producer, and then, just kind of move from there.
Absolutely. And it's a very authentic sound because I feel like it's also a timeless sound, right? So there's a lot of people, not a lot of people, a couple of artists right now, I feel like that are making timeless music, and you fall within that category because it gave me that groovy, like it was so groovy. So like it gave me a groovy feeling. It kind of reminded me a little bit of what Bruno and Anderson .Paak are doing right now. And you're going to play those records 20 years from now. And we can play this record 20 years from now, even though it's like, I know I'm complaining that it was short, and I know you did it on purpose, but it's short. So let's talk about the difference between the Audacity volumes that you put out and this particular project, because I do like Audacity, by the way.
Thank you.
That was different. It gave me like, it was like a two-part sort of feeling. It felt like kind of like, I had it all in my head before, but it felt like kind of good guy versus bad guy sort of thing. But you gave me that kind of like that, like not thug, but you gave me that like aggressive at first, and then you mellowed it out a little bit. And that's what I really liked about those two projects that you had out last year. So what's the difference between this one and those two?
Honestly, Audacity was like more of a smorgasbord. It was like just a wide variety, a wide array of things, because Audacity was my first project to be released as an independent artist. Right. And I was just coming off of not putting out music in 2 years. So it was like, wow, I'm starting at zero. I don't know what people are going to like from me. And so I'm just going to give them a little bit of everything. And so that was kind of Audacity, was just like really throwing paint up onto the wall and just seeing like what art that I could create from out of it. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And I mean, honestly, like it did better than what I could ever expect, in the sense of just like certain standout tracks. And with Drive, I would say that it's a little more focused in the sense of like conceptually, as far as lyrically, as far as melodically, as far as just in a sense of groove wise, it puts you into a very consistent like state of just trance. It's a flow that it's not interrupted by like a different thing where it's like something that's jarring, or like I go from a soul record to a trap record like I did in Audacity, where I would blend these two worlds, in which like it worked out, but it was very like, it was a real like crazy journey with loops and turns, versus Drive was very smooth and it was very seamless. You know what I mean? Like to listen to.
I like that Drive also, by the way, paints a picture for you. And it like, I hate road trips. I'm not gonna lie. I hate them with all my heart. I cannot sit in a car for a really long time because I get restless, but it kind of gave me that feeling that you had as a little kid when you were looking out the window and you were listening to the radio, and it kind of paints a scenery for you. So that's what I really, really love about Drive. So visually, what are you going to do with, damn, you have like what, 8, 9 singles? Like take away. And by the way, I wanted to get into how you creatively did the hosting parts from the beginning, middle, and end. I'm trying not to curse, but I love that, by the way. I love that. I really love that.
Do whatever you want to do on your show.
I just hate editing out the curses, but I have to say that. I was like, I love that. That was genius.
Thank you. Shout out to Cayman Kelly from Sirius XM, Heart and Soul. So Cayman, I've known Cayman since like 2017, since Long Song Away. And, he was just one of those guys that just kept in touch, man. Hope all is well. Woo, woo, woo. And with Sirius XM Radio, I've never not had a number one. So as it stands right now, Long Song Away don't go. So maybe like 5 number ones over there in that format. And so with that being said, it made it an easier call to say, hey, Cayman, can you do me this favor? I can pay you. I can whatever you need. Like, and he was like, nah, I got you. So literally I had like I written out like a skit, you know what I mean? Or I don't know what they call it in radio or whatever, but just like kind of like liners and, just to kind of guide him. And so he literally took the liners and was like, and murdered it. And so I just literally just kind of wrote it down in segments. So once I kind of started putting the album together, I was like, what's important? You got to introduce, 108.7 to Drive as a station. Right. You got to really, get people acclimated and let them sit into the journy. Oh, you can't forget, you got to have a giveaway. You got to have something that's, you know what I mean?
I love that.
So it's just, I didn't want to oversaturate it either. So I just wanted to kind of, give at least 3 parts of it where people can like at least get this nostalgia and this feel of what radio was to us, you know, and our generation. So
definitely. And I used to, like, obviously growing up, FYI, also used to intern for Sirius. So that's so funny that you said that. I was like, growing up, I used to love, like, this is probably odd. This is not about me, but radio, like radio was always such a fascinating thing to me, just to hear somebody on the radio. So it really did bring me back to that, like I said, that childlike moment when you're in the car, you're looking out the window and you're looking at the scenery and you just hear. Definitely for me, R&B stations, because that's what I grew up on. So that's why I love you, by the way. So I'm definitely feeling Drive a lot. So what's your favorite single off of Drive? Because for me, it's obviously Wave Running and Miscommunication. So definitely love those two.
Thank you. I'm gonna be honest, it varies. I love the start of Drive too. I love like Sweet Release. I love how it opens.
It's so mellow. It like really puts you in, like you said, like a kind of a trance. And I was like, that's what it was.
Yeah. It all depends on the day. I really do I love all of them. You know what I mean? There's not one right now as it stands where it's like, ooh, that was I probably shouldn't have put that out. You know what I mean? Like I'm not in that space yet. And surprisingly, the one that I thought that people wouldn't like, which is called Naturally, because I was like, debating on, I was like, I was like, I don't know if, you know, like people are going to really respond to this. But they are. So it just kind of makes me say, okay, you know what? I didn't make a bad choice on this. And so all of them are my babies, but for right now, I'll say Sweet Release for sure.
Sweet Release. Awesome. So what's the next visuals? Would it be Naturally that you need to do a visual for?
You know what? I gotta wait and see like what comes back, as far as like, I usually wait a week to just kind of see like the numbers in a sense of like, what streamed the most out of everything and yada, yada, yada. As it stands thus far this Wednesday, it's looking like Wave Runner for sure. Ooh. Yeah. So, you know, that's also cool too, because, you know, me and Rotemi and Afrobeat have already kind of been planning for it. So, you know, ideally that would be the next single or the next visual. And then, I think the last time I checked, I want to say it's either Sweet Release or Naturally. Is between those. But yeah, I'll get kind of a consensus on it for sure.
I'm excited to see what you're going to do creatively, visually with this. Because this is crazy. And you know what's funny? You don't really have, and this is what I was going to talk about too, you don't really have that many features. And I like that about you, because I feel like your project should stand alone and be about you and showcase your abilities as an artist, rather than dumping it with like a whole bunch of people. And then you're like, wait, let me figure this out right quick. Yeah. So why is that you don't have as many features? And I know you said in the past, but does it still stand the same, that you think people are weird, or you just really want to keep it all about you? Nah,
I think it doesn't necessarily matter if it's all about me, more so than it is the creation part of it, right? So, I mean, even with Wave Runner, like, I don't start the record, Rotimi does, right? So, like, I don't come into the hook, but it's just the vibe set. Like, I'm all about, like, the greater good. Yes, I did say that a lot of my peers and creators, they are very eclectic, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes that can kind of weird them out in a sense where it's like, whether it's on a competitive level or whether it's because the fact that they're looking to aim higher. As for me, you know, I do want to play in the sandbox with people. I am a collaborator. It's just the fact of who's willing to play, right? And then a lot of times too, when you're aiming up, then it's a money thing. So you like, all right, I'm indie, you know, we got to pay these bills, we got to pay for radio, yada, yada, yada. So, you know, you got to really decide and choose to say, all right, is this record, you know, when I put these, you know, 20, 30 bands out for this artist, are they going to really make a difference? Is it going to make or break this record, you know? And as it stands right now, it's like everything is happening for a reason. You know, me getting this feature with, you know, the guys as far as on Wave Runner happened for a reason. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next in the sense of the features that I can get as my profile increases. So like I said, I'm willing to play. It's just everything in its own time.
I agree. Like, listen, I was like, nah, don't even say that. But I trust me, I'm here with you. I definitely get you. Is there any other person indie that you would work with? Because like your vocals are, I feel like indie R&B, before I even get into that next part, indie R&B is probably the best R&B. I feel like mainstream R&B isn't what it used to be. And I feel like with the indie people that are in R&B right now, they make a huge difference in music. And I hate that people say that R&B is dead, because it's not. Because if you're not really listening to the underground of R&B, you are missing out.
Okay, so I'll ask, who are your top 5 indie artists? And so we'll just see, we'll see if they're indie or not, because some of them claim that they're indie, but they're not. But let's see.
All right, I definitely love Somo, Travis Garland, Blakely. I had him in my head too, because when I was saying this, Blakely, I'm gonna put you in there, because I didn't discover you until like maybe a month ago. And I'm not even saying that because you're on my show, but like literally vocally, like beast. And I would definitely throw in Kiana. I keep butchering her last name, Kiana Lede.
Yeah. Is Kiana, is she indie, or is she?
I still believe she is, because I don't feel like she really popped like she should, and it's pissing me off, because she's getting there. That's her label's fault. She is signed. She is signed. She is, but she's still not, like, I'm not seeing her like getting the respect that she deserves, because I'm like, she's out here bodying stuff. Even, you know what? I'll throw in a bonus. I don't want to say this, but I grew up in church, but I'll throw in Queen Aja as well. Yeah, because I'm used to that sound. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you grew up in church or not, but I'm used to her, like her vocal ability and sound, like growing up all my life. And that's what I like. I love that about it, because I'm like, it's so authentic. And I'm like, you don't get that. Like, seriously. But there's a whole bunch, and I'm drawing like blanks right now. You really caught me on the spot. But trust me, my list is long with like R&B singers that are really like genuinely indie. Like, people don't really know about it. When I like, even when I'm talking about like R&B, or I'm playing a song, some people go, who's that? I'm like, you know what? Stay over there. Stay over there.
It's just, I think the thing is too, is like, especially with indie R&B, it's like, it does become a money issue, right? Because it's about visibility. Like, even with Instagram and Facebook and all that, like, you have to pay to like literally like reach all of your followers, which is like oddly bizarre, because you earned them. And so they're just like, we understand you earned them, but you must pay to access them, right? So that's what sucks. It's an interesting dichotomy when you really think about it. But then when you look at it from an indie structure, to say visibility is all based on reach, and a lot has to deal with money wise, right? So it's like, you could be as dope as you want to be, but do you have the budget? And a lot of times people say, okay, well, am I going to, are we going to radio? Are we doing sync? Are we going to the night show? What are we going to do? You have to choose versus running on all cylinders. Like you said, which makes a lot of people indie, and it makes the process a lot longer, because of the fact that, they're trying to invest in, places that make sense for them. Too. Yeah. So it's a tough thing, but what's happening in R&B is great, because it's like, it's really shaping up to be like just a music refreshing, like a refreshener. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that in the past maybe 10, 15 years, this is like some of the best R&B that I've heard from a lot of artists, because people have to step up, because they're trying to get from underground. So they got to make as much noise and put out as much dope stuff as possible. So I'm grateful to, even just be a part of this underground swelling, and just see who survives too. You know what I mean? Like, who's actually going to, be there in the sunlight when the light shines back on the genre.
Definitely. Oh, by the way, too, and I agree with you, because I can't wait for R&B to go back to being the popular stance of things, by the way. But Victoria Monet, I've been bumping her. That's why I was like, I've been bumping her heavy, and I still feel like she don't get the respect. Her pen is nice. Her pen is nice.
She's phenomenal. Woo.
That Jaguar.
Conceptually, everything, man. Just like all the way around, she's an extremely talented artist, and like you said, indie to the core. So she's very cool about that. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm sorry, like you about to have me like it's about to all start popping up, but let's get back to you because I was about to start dropping off mad stuff, and I'm like, let me just stay in my lane right here.
Nah, you good.
I love R&B through and through, and that's definitely by far my favorite genre because I think it has a lot to do with growing up in church, but definitely R&B for sure.
Let's go.
All right. So festivals and concerts, now that we're back open, I'd like to see you at some of the greatest R&B festivals and actually some mainstream festivals. So are you playing anything this year or next year?
Yeah, I play by my own terms. So like this Friday, November 5th, I'll be in DC, City Winery. So we do 2 shows. One sold out already, and then the other one is we're on our way to selling out. So much love to the city. I'll be in Raleigh. Thank you. I'll be in Raleigh, North Carolina on the 15th of November. 16th, I'll be in Charlotte. And then November 20th, I'll be in Atlanta. And then December 11th, I'll be in Hampton, VA. So I'm moving around a little bit. We're getting back out there. And I would love to be a part of festivals. Sometimes, you gotta play the game a little bit in the sense of, sometimes it's about who you're connected to, right, or, you know what I mean? How y'all can make money together. You know what I mean? So, that is coming and it will align and, we'll make it make sense. But as of right now, just as a businessman, it's like, man, listen, that ain't gonna stop. You know what I mean? What I got going on is just about building my own world so that when I do reach those festivals, I have a fan base that's there to come and see me.
Absolutely. I mean, clearly you're selling out shows already. So it's like, come on, like, you got to get on that lineup for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about ASMG. You departed obviously from Motown, and now are you looking to sign anybody, or are you just focusing on just releasing your own music on your own terms?
I have entertained the idea of, I wouldn't say sign, but partner. Okay. I've entertained the idea of partnering with people. I'm just very particular about who I partner with. They have to be as self-sufficient as me. It's just a fact of, they may be self-sufficient, but they may not have certain avenues that I have open. And so, part of, me moving forward as well is to open up each and every avenue so that I can let the other artists know that it's possible that we can reach these avenues. So whether it's radio, radio, we got that. Now it's like, all right, my main concern is TV, so that when I run into an artist and say, I would really love to get my stuff placed on, some show, that it's not this impossible feat, that it's just a phone call and that particular person can either give me a yes or a no. And, and it could be a very realistic and transparent conversation with the artist that I'm dealing with or partnering with. So, when it pertains to working with an artist, I think we're ready because we have enough avenues open, not all, but for the avenues that we do have open, I'm very confident in. So they just have to be self-sufficient. They got to record themselves. They don't have to, produce everything or whatever, but they just have to have that will and determination, because since it's a partnership, it's my brand connecting with theirs. And they have to understand that they are a brand. They are a business, that we are there, slightly monetarily to partner with them, but more so to, distribute, to connect the dots where they maybe haven't been able to connect it, and just really give a true and transparent, visual, of what it will be to partner with ASMG. I don't want to be dangling nothing over people's heads and over promising something that we can't deliver on, because that's when you do bad business and you leave a sour taste in people's mouths. So
definitely. It's so funny that you said all of that, because I literally just had a conversation with somebody in PR yesterday, and we're going back and forth about dealing with only people that are authentic and very transparent about what they do, and not doing with this weird energy that's going on inside the industry right now. Like, you already know, like, it's like gatekeepers to gatekeepers to gatekeepers right now. And it's so weird. But I love that you said all that. The verbiage is on point, by the way. The verbiage is on point.
We do what we can. You know what I'm saying? We gotta, paint the picture.
You are literally the R&B Russ at this point, because you're going in the right direction.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So this is my favorite part of the show. It's called 5 Fast Facts. I like to always hit everybody with this. Let's see how fast you are at spitting out some facts about yourself. So you just have to reveal some things that your fans don't already know about you that you feel comfortable with. I don't pressure anybody, but if you could just drop some juice, we love that too.
Let's do it.
It is your time to shine. Go ahead, Kevin.
Oh, wait, I'm supposed to just like fast fire?
Fast fire.
Damn.
I always get everybody with this.
Oh,
everybody's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Time
all
after
right.
time.
Let's do it. All right. When I was a little kid, I wanted to be a fireman. Okay. I used to put ranch dressing on everything. Tacos, spaghetti, lasagna. It was a weird obsession that I had. Let's see. I drink honey straight out the bottle when it's time to perform, like
Smart.
Water. I actually love road trips, and I take obscene, like I do very, very long road trips, like
Jesus, God bless you.
Yes. And then let's see, another fun fact that my audience may not know about me. Let me see. Dang, hold up.
You gotta drop a good one.
I own a RV.
Oh wow!
I own an RV that I've transformed into a a touring thing. So yeah, I just bought it. Like a couple weeks ago. So.
Oh, congratulations!
But yeah, they don't know that. There we go.
We're the first ones to give it out to them. So
yeah.
So this Friday, where are you playing again, Kevin?
Yes, DC City Winery. I will be in the hometown. Make sure that you get your tickets at kevinrossmusic.com. Also, I'll be in Raleigh, Charlotte, and Atlanta. You want more information on it, kevinrossmusic.com. If you haven't listened to Drive 2, it is a very short drive. It is a very short play. So make sure that you give it a shot. Let me know what you think. And you can let me know what you think about it by hitting me at Kevin Ross Music. That is on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. I am Kevin Ross on TikTok. So I appreciate this. I appreciate the question.
I love it, Kevin. You are a professional at this. Like, definitely by far one of the most smoothest interviews I've had in a long time. You were with it, man. I love it.
I appreciate it.
Kevin, thank you so much for joining us today to take time out of your busy schedule to sit with Culture Pop Radio. We obviously love you so much over here. We can't wait for all your success, by the way.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm Julia Vamps. This is Kevin Ross.